I'm pretty sure we're live now. What's up, everybody? Hopefully, your Sunday is off to a nice start, and hopefully, your Saturday night of DFS went really, really well. Got a couple of sports. We will run through them back again today, and hopefully, keep the winning streak going.
Yeah, man, excited to talk out this Sunday slate with you. I always love these Sunday baseball slates, so let's get at
Al- Also, I'm not there to see it, but I'm assuming you're a little freaking excited. We have no Coors Field on this one because when you have the best team in baseball in Coors Field, it becomes so chalky. And this one's way more spread out. So I know this one probably speaks to you a lot more.
it. Definitely does. 100%. I was thinking that exact thing when I first popped open the slate. And you say it's spread out. Man, it is so spread out because there isn't even like, not only is there not cores, there's not like a so-called crush spot that's better than the others, in my opinion.
I kind of like that because this is a day I
Same.
like to play the ownership percentage a little bit more than other ones because, like, I didn't love the Dodgers all the slates the last couple of days, but I liked them a lot more than I liked anybody else. So I played cash game heavy on baseball, which I don't enjoy doing. Today, I don't think I'll even enter a cash game. I think I'll just go straight up GPP.
Sweet.
So, as far as pitching goes, the chalkiest of the builds early in the day appears to be Zach Davies paired with Ian Anderson, with Michael Pineda also getting a decent amount of love. And then there's a bunch of other guys between Savali and Eflin and even like Scooble and stuff and Mitch Keller down here getting a little bit of attention. Do you have specific guys you're really trying to earmark for this one already?
There's one guy I like a lot that like I'm not even seeing in projections in a couple places, and that's Domingo Herman.
Okay. What do you like about it?
So a couple things. One, if you remember, go back all the way to 2019, Herman was awesome. I mean, he was an ace, a fantasy ace. He was really freaking good. He got hurt missed all of last year, is back now, beat out Davy Garcia for the last spot in the Yankees rotation. He was awesome in spring. He's a really good fantasy pitcher. The Blue Jays are a tough matchup because they have a lot of power, but they also strike out a lot. I don't think he's going to get any love. I think this slate has a bunch of guys that are okay options, and not like Herman is like some lock for me, but I don't view anyone like that on this slate, and I like him quite a bit.
Okay. I was wondering if you were going to have any interest. I know a guy that you liked for a long time who's really been bad for a while, who closed out the last couple of starts really well, is Carlos Martinez. And I see a lot of people stacking against him. What were your thoughts on him?
I didn't have many clear thoughts on him.
Okay.
Where were you talking? When did he have those couple really good starts?
Well, it kind of breaks it down right here.
Oh,
Martinez.
I thought you meant at the end of last year.
Nope. At the end of spring training, like it says right here, his last 9 innings, he pitched like a complete game shutout, the equivalent over 2 starts. So he's got stuff, but he has been atrocious in recent memory.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it.
So I don't know. He's coming in with like no ownership, and a lot of the Cincinnati guys are going to be chalky by today's standards, not like ultimate chalk like Dodgers and Coors, like because that was overwhelming last night. But I'm just saying, like they're getting some love today. The Moustakas of the world and everything like that.
For sure.
Okay. So besides Herman, was there anybody else you were feeling really good about today?
I kind of like Brady Singer.
Okay. This whole game's getting some offensive attention, so I know Joey Gallo is going to be one of the more popular hitters on this slate. I don't fear Texas at all. They had a nice little start yesterday in the first and second inning off Mike Minor, and then they showed a little bit more about who Texas really is. Didn't score the rest of the game, I think. I can get on board.
Who do you like?
That's a great question. I will. So I think Ian Anderson's the best pitcher that we have probably on this slate. So knowing that there's so many cheap guys on offense, you can kind of pay up whoever you want. I'll probably use a little bit of him. I will use probably one Michael Pineda. I watched most of the Brewers and the Twins last night. And one, I don't want to take anything away from Barrios or my boy Corbin Burns because they were amazing. But those were some of the worst at bats I've ever seen at the professional level. Those guys were awesome, but my God, were they swinging at terrible pitches. Has me a little excited about the potential Brewer upside for strikeout right here. They didn't hit the bullpen either. They were just off everywhere. They weren't even close.
Yeah, I didn't watch a ton of that, but clearly Barrios was awesome. So I don't know. I mean, I don't feel great about Pineda here. I get why you like him, though.
I don't feel great about any pitcher on the slate. So it's definitely one where the first and seventh best pitcher are not significantly different to me.
Agreed.
I probably won't play Zach Eflin. I'm just going to call for a Braves slightly breakout game today. I don't really want to stack the Braves, but I'm not really interested in Eflin. I can definitely get on board with Herman. I can also get on, I can get on board with a couple of pieces from the Blue Jays, like Vlad and maybe a Marcus Semien.
Yeah, I mean, I like Herman, but I definitely get that.
So I think early in the day, my rotation of pitchers will be Ian Anderson, Michael Pineda, Herman. And I think more than anything, to try to be different, I'll just fade a chalky Zach Davies.
Yeah, honestly, I think Keller's a guy, not Keller, excuse me. Brady Singer's a guy I could see myself using. He's talented. We often talk about, like, in baseball, especially like hitters in the second year, like having, sophomore slump. So we talk about that often in baseball. It's pretty prevalent. I don't feel that way about pitchers. Do you?
No, not necessarily. And it takes the right hitter for me to even feel that way, but I don't really feel that way about pitchers.
For me, like, pitching is such a craft, right? Like, I do think that as far as pitching goes, a lot of times guys get better, from their first to second year.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about a sophomore slump from a pitcher necessarily. It can happen, of course. It's just not something that, I'm going to go out of the way to try to throw into my arsenal. What about Adrian Hauser of my Brewers against the Twins, who, again, I know Buxton hit a home run. They won that game 2-0, but they also just looked terrible yesterday. And part of that is Corbin Burns is electric, but without Josh Donaldson, like you mentioned, Rosario's and they're not as good of a lineup as they have been in years prior, with no Cruz in the lineup either.
No, we talked about it yesterday. I mean, no Donaldson, no Cruz. Eddie Rosario's on the Indians now. Like, I mean, that's three of, like, their top 5 hitters from last year. So I'm with you. Their lineup's not nearly as good in my eyes.
And Hauser was not great last year. I want to say his ERA and every statistical metric took a big dip. But there was a lot of people who had bad years last year. He was good in 2019.
Yeah, I know we're Hauser fans. I don't hate him on this slate.
Again, I wouldn't set my slate by it. I wouldn't go balls deep on this one or anything like that. I don't mind getting a little different with it. And I guess Zach Davies being the most popular pitcher on the slate potentially, I'll just not use him. I'm not scared of fading Zach Davies. I like him as a pitcher. He was so good to open the year last year, but prior to that, he had a lot of really bad starts to seasons. He's a completely location-based pitcher. His stuff is far from overpowering. He's got a lot of seasons at the major league level where he's struggled early because he's completely based on location.
Yeah, I do remember he was really good last year for the Padres.
Really good. Yeah, he was. We were like, is this a new person all of a sudden? Like, what's up with all these strikeouts? But
yeah,
then he really slowed her down the rest of the season.
I'm surprised he's getting so much love.
Well, the Pirates team, and they ain't so good. So I understand. I think a lot of people probably just dive into the slate and they're kind of confused. Like, we don't have anybody we love. And so they look at a team against the Pirates who are not a good baseball team, and they just go there. I can understand it. I don't think he should be as popular as he is, though.
For sure. I mean, I like the guys we talked about more than him. And I will say, it boosted him, probably the Pirates' arguably best hitter right now, Brian Hayes, left early yesterday. Might not be in the lineup today.
The Pirates me at probably their best hitter.
The Pirates were pretty popular yesterday, interestingly enough.
Massive winds blowing out in Wrigley. People just played the weather.
Yeah, for sure. What's the weather like there today?
According to Roth, I don't know, maybe he's got Easter plans or something because he didn't really put much of a report up. It was just everything looks about neutral today. So from the best of my knowledge, you don't really incorporate weather into your research strategy today.
For sure, no doubt.
Which I kind of like. I know in the Midwest, I don't know what the weather's like over there, but we're in the 60s and relatively sunny. So a pretty neutral climate.
Like, let me ask you this. I know, like, you touched on it. Like, what do you think of Herman? Like, could you see yourself using Herman?
Yeah, I will probably run a 3-entry max today, and I will probably play him at least once because I do now recall how good he was. He did, like you said, he beat him out. And if he was good during the spring, I'll take that, which means his location was good. That's the biggest issue guys have early in the season is getting their touch and their location down right. And if he's already vibing, I like that.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, he's talented. I'll have to look more a little bit to see like what his length is. All right. Well, we seem to see this pretty similarly.
And as far as like Ian Anderson goes up top, like I don't love picking on Philly, but I do think he's good. And honestly, there's so many cheap bats today that I'm not at all worried about salaries. You got Nomar Mazara batting cleanup at 2,100. You got Trey Mancini at 2K. It's super easy you could play both of the top pitchers today and still make easy lineups.
I mean, easily.
Yes.
That said, like I don't necessarily think that those guys are going to outscore like Herman.
Sure. I'm just saying like you can pay up for pitching today. It's not really a strategic issue.
No, it's not a strategic issue. The problem is like I just said, like those guys aren't like aces.
No, I'm not saying that they are.
What do you think
I'm
about
just saying like you can pay for whoever you want for pitching today. Salary's not a huge issue. You play who
What do
you
you think
want.
about Savali?
I'm not going to pay 9,600 for Savali. I would play Pineda below him or Ian Anderson above him.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I am kind of digging on Singer and Herman the more I look at this slate. Like both those guys have strikeout upside. That's what I'm feeling personally. And honestly, like, I mean,
if you look at Singer's 3 of his last 4 starts last year, like he shows his upside 26, 32, and 36.
Yeah, like he is good too. Like he's a well-regarded prospect. The other guy that like I'm thinking about a little bit, it obviously is very risky, is Carlos Martinez, man. Like you're telling me people are going to stack against him, right-handed heavy Cincy lineup. Man, he's cheap as hell. Not that you need the salary, but I don't know, like intriguing. I'll say that if nothing else.
Yeah, and again, for those of you who maybe haven't watched baseball that closely, or maybe didn't watch it a bunch of years ago, like Carlos Martinez used to be really good. Now I know it's been a couple of years; he's had some rough years, but like he used to be like, legitimate like SP2, SP1.
The best
All-star
like
twice.
Carlos Martinez at his prime is easily the best pitcher on this slate.
Yeah, there you go. And again, he started this spring awful, and he was terrible last year. But there's strikeout upside here. This is a guy that used to K about 1 guy per inning. So I don't know. I'm intrigued. I also know it can entirely backfire, and it's hard to get last year's Carlos Martinez out of your head.
For sure. So no doubt about that.
All right, let's move over to offenses today. Do you have like a specific stack that you're feeling really good about today?
I don't think there's like one that like absolutely jumps out. Do you?
Not really. I'm kind of like, it's not like anything to do with the spot. Like I kind of am intrigued by the Yankees because they're not getting a ton of love today. Great hitter park. They're really good. I can easily afford him today. I do like Gary Sanchez, who appears to be getting way less love than Salvador Perez. Started the year hot. We've seen Sanchez when he gets rolling like this before. You can almost just mark him in for a home run, it feels like.
Yeah, you know I'm a huge Sanchez fan, so I can definitely get on board with the Yankees here, especially because they're coming in a little less owned than they should.
You rarely get the Yankees at low owned, and if you can get them all today, like 5 to 15% somewhere in there, that's so low owned by their standards.
I agree. I mean, I got no arguments with that at all. And like, I'll use their whole lineup. Their whole lineup's good. Got power. Frazier at 9th yesterday. I mean, Frazier's good. Like, not like good for a 9th hitter. He is good. So
yeah, you could literally, you could stack them too easily because like you get, if you want to throw in Jay Bruce at 2,700, we got Aaron Hicks in the 3 hole at 3,400. And that makes it really easy to afford the Judge, Stanton, Sanchez's, and Torres of the world. DJ LeMahieu, too, is probably their best overall hitter. It's really not that difficult to do today.
To me, it seems like the only offense that's really getting like over-owned on this slate is Kansas City.
Yeah. Well, I already made the cover for this one. Kansas City, I'm fine with one guy. I want to play Whit Merrifield. He looks really good to start the year. Stolen base and power upside. But outside of that, like since he's getting way more love than I'd want to give him.
For sure. Yeah, no doubt. The Yankees look good. I'm not sure what to do with Cleveland because I think they're in a high upside spot. They haven't looked great recently, like the past couple of days. So,
yeah. I mean, you could always one off Reyes against a lefty, for 4K. I probably wasn't going to go too hard on Cleveland, but this is another one. Like, you got Luplow leading off at 2,300. This is why you can just do whatever you want at pitching. Don't really take salary into an account because there's actually decent hitting options for really, really cheap. So you got Luplow leading off at 2,300, and if you clue in the Detroit guys, like, how can you not be slightly intrigued by a Nomar Mazara hitting cleanup at 2,100? And he's actually he's a pretty talented guy, and has a nice start to the year already.
For sure. Both those guys. I mean, there's cheap hitters all over the place, and like, I don't think either of these guys will get a ton of love because there's so many other cheap guys.
I think Boston will be too high owned again.
I'm not really ever trying to go to Boston when they're chalk.
Agreed. Their offense isn't great either. Like, we like Verdugo. He's a nice hitter. He's having a slow start to the year. I know JD had 3 hits yesterday, but like the first double was a pop-up that got lost in the sun. It wasn't like a real double.
No, it wasn't at all. I was kind of upset about that because I did not use him.
I hear that. I understand that. Again, I can definitely fade a chalky Boston. Their offense, like Kiki Hernandez is their leadoff hitter. Like, outside of Devers, who isn't even in the lineup today, like, they got Bogarts and JD Martinez and Verdugo. This is just not that great of a lineup.
Well, I'm sure the guy for Baltimore's got to be a lefty, right?
Oh, Christ, I can't even remember his name off the top of my head. Zimmerman. Yeah, he's a lefty. So, again, if you want to bring in JD Martinez, I understand it.
People are going to just be drawn. People love using guys against lefties. Do you feel me on that?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And if you're getting Hunter Renfroe a one-off at 6K, but they might get one at bat against this guy.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm really not interested in using like a chalky Boston when there's other good offenses on this slate. Like, I just mentioned Cleveland. I don't think Boston's in like that much of a better spot than Cleveland.
And I don't love Cleveland's lineup anymore without Francisco Lindor, but guess what? I don't love Boston's lineup either. That's what has me drawn to the Yankees. They're actually really, really good.
I got no arguments there.
I know. I know you like the Yankees most days. You just, they're chalk too often for you.
For sure. Also, St. Louis looks pretty good here.
Yeah, and as far as St. Louis goes, a couple of guys. Paul DeJong is off to a real hot start of the season. Nolan Arenado, we know he's good. I could definitely start with a mini stack of St. Louis, especially the top of their order right here.
For sure. Like, I definitely could see doing that. This Jeff Hoffman's no good.
No, he's not. Former Colorado pitcher, right?
Yep.
So, again, it wasn't just that he pitched in Coors. He wasn't very good either.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it didn't help him that he was in Coors, so, like, he wasn't very good.
All right, I'm not looking to go hard after my Brewers in Minnesota, and that's probably me being a little overreactionary to watching the game last night. And again, I do want to make sure that I give Burritos and Burns their credit because they were awesome. But my Lord, did I watch these guys swing at balls that were like 3 feet off the plate over and over and over again. And part of it was Burritos' curve was nasty, and Burns' cutter is one of the best pitches in baseball. But holy cow, did they all look awful.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, these lineups aren't that good either. I mean,
no, they're not.
It's just the truth. Like, Minnesota, we talked about. Cruz is easily their best power guy. He's not going to play today because they're in the NL. Missing Donaldson, already talked about Rosario. The Brewers is slightly better, but, like, they're pretty underwhelming themselves.
No, outside of Hira and Christian Yelich, like, who are their really good hitters? Like, Colton Wong, he's nice. Avi Garcia lost a bunch of weight, and he's probably going to have a better season. Okay, but these are not world beaters by any means. The guy I'm most interested in from this game is Byron Buxton. A couple of home runs to start the year. Massive upside with that speed and power. 3,700, very affordable. He's a guy I'm most interested in this game.
Especially if he's eating on top of the lineup. Like, I could see using like a top of the lineup Minnesota stack. Kepler, who always crushes righties. Affordable. They still got good hitters.
Yeah. Buxton's just a huge upside play every day.
For sure.
So, again, I like Hira and Christian Yelich, but I'm not going out of my way to play them today. If I stack Milwaukee, it's strictly just because I'm going to watch the game. I want to have a little skin in the game right there. It's based on no DFS evaluation at all whatsoever.
For sure.
All right, so you mentioned Kansas City's getting a lot of love. We all know Jordan Lyles, outside of the small times he pitched with my Brewers, is not very good. This is easy for me. Like Salvador Perez is coming in overwhelming chalk. Give me Gary Sanchez at the same price.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, unless I'm stacking the Royals, which I probably won't be. I mean, I'm definitely using someone else there.
And like for me, like Solaire's getting some love at 3,100, understandable, big time power. They still don't have Mondesi. They had a big back half of the game yesterday. And I'm very comfortable just one-offing Whit Merrifield in some of my lineups. I just like him as a player every single day, and he's got big speed and power. Well, big speed, some power.
Michael Taylor's been really good to start the year, too. So if you're stacking him, I wouldn't forget him.
Couple bombs already, and he's so cheap.
Yeah, he's so cheap, and he'll get no love because there's other guys cheaper.
So that's exactly why you can do whatever you want with
literally
today, because there's so many cheap guys. Like this is one of those slates that if Max Scherzer and DeGrom are on here, you could play both of them, and then just pay for some of these cheap hitters. Because like Soler and Michael Taylor are just two guys from this game right here, way too cheap.
For sure, no doubt, it's all over.
As far as the Texas guys go, Joey Gallo's he's one of the higher owned projected hitters on this game. So it seems like you like Singer a lot more than the masses. This could be an easy fade right here because Gallo really needs the homer to be effective. And as great of a power hitter is, he doesn't homer every day.
No, I'm definitely team Singer. I'll use him. I'm not going to use Texas probably.
Yeah, the idea of being contrarian today is way more appealing to me than it has been the last couple of days because I haven't liked anybody enough to like them over the Dodgers and Coors.
I will say the one guy from Texas is David Dahl. He'll also get a lot of love, but he looks good to start the year.
Yeah, he's a talented hitter too, right? You can just never stay healthy.
Amen.
And again, you're not wrong for using Joey Gallo, people. And if you're playing the cash games, it makes a lot of sense. He's going to be one of the higher owned hitters on this slate. He's got huge power. So I get it if you want to go there.
For sure.
I love the idea of using the Pirates as leverage against Zach Davies. The problem is, we've already mentioned, the Pirates are awful. This might be the worst lineup in baseball.
I don't really feel the need to use the Pirates here. Like say Davies, I just don't think he'll be that good. I don't think he'll get lit up though.
Yeah, like Davies can go 5 innings pitched, give up 1 run, but only strike out 3 guys. And
exactly.
Singer could give up 5 runs, but strike out 8 and end up with basically the same score, right?
I'll put it like this: I'm not fading Davies because I think he's going to get rocked. I'm fading him because he's chalk, and I think he's just fine.
All right, as far as the Cubs and Mitch Keller go, I'm mostly just going to ignore this one. Mitch Keller, they even break it down in the DraftKings right up on him. Very Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde early in his career. It doesn't seem like the wind is the same as it was yesterday, so it's kind of a neutral climate. I probably won't take my chances on Keller, but I don't think I'm really going to throw a bunch of Cubs hitters out there either.
I agree.
Okay, so yeah, awesome. I'll mostly just ignore this entire last game.
Same.
Okay. Just as kind of a recap.
On that note, I do think Keller has upside, and the Cubs offense also has upside. And I'm going to fade it.
Sure.
Neither of them. You know what I mean? Because if Keller's really, really good, he's really cheap and has upside. You don't need it on this slate. If he's bad, the Cubs probably hit him hard. I'm hoping it's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much exactly how I feel about it. For me, I just don't know which one shows up today, so I'm just not going to place a bet on it. It's kind of just that abstain type of it's like when you're sports betting and you see a line at -5 and you're like, that's right. I have no interest in either side. That's kind of how I am on this game. I could see Keller having a real nice start. I could see the Cubs getting to him, so I'll probably just stay away from each side.
Understood, Sam.
The more I talk about this, the more I think I'm going to mess around with pitching a little bit more than normal and just put my money on the Yankees today. If they don't score a bunch of runs, they don't score a bunch of runs, but them and the Braves are the best 2 offenses on the board.
I was going to say be prepared for maybe a funky lineup also.
Their lineup already came out.
Oh, didn't even realize because I don't see it up here.
Yeah, I didn't reset it either, but it came out. LeMahieu, Judge, Hicks, Torres, Bruce, Sanchez, your boy Clint Frazier, Urshela, Gardner. Like you said, where's the weak spot in this lineup? It doesn't exist. So actually, I will take my chance today. And if it doesn't work out, guess what? There's a new slate tomorrow. But I'm just going to go hard on the Yankees, hope they bust out this year, and get them at lower ownership than you normally can get the Yankees.
That lineup's sexy also.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, we've talked through a bunch of these. You look at my Milwaukee Brewers, for example. You guys know I'm a fan. But outside of Yelich and Kurt Keston here, it's not very strong up and down. This all of these guys would be in the Brewers starting lineup.
Truth.
So, any last little bit of tidbits?
No, that's all I got. Got to get writing.
All right, guys. Write-up will be out in about an hour-ish or whatever. We will cover NBA later. Best of luck to everybody today. And thanks for watching. Click the thumbs up button, blah, blah, blah. Membership's available through the website.
Thanks, guys.